Good evening, dear kids. Today I am taking your chapter 2, that is 2.1. In that we have the graph is given to you, y is equal to polynomial x. It is given in the figure as you can see here, and there are different graphs given for different polynomials and you have to find the number of zeros. Now what do you mean by number of zeros here? See my dear kids, जैसा आपका ग्राफ है या तो ग्राफ आपका अगर आप क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशंस ले रहे हैं तो ईदर योर ग्राफ विल बी लाइक दिस और योर ग्राफ विल बी लाइक दिस or your graph will be something like this. So these are the curvy movements, the curves of your graph of the quadratic equations. Now polynomial के भी ऐसे ही हम लोग के graphs होते हैं. तो हम लोग का zeros का मतलब क्या है यहाँ पे? Now the zeros are of a quadratic polynomial are the x coordinates of the points where your graph intersects your x-axis. तो जहाँ पे आप notice करेंगे, if I just zoom this so that you will get to know. Can you see the first graph, what it is? Now in this graph, do my slope is intersecting x-axis somewhere? No, it is not intersecting x-axis. So see my dear kids, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. तो क्या आपका ग्राफ x-axis पे intersect कर रहा है? नहीं. So here we will say that the zero of polynomial x is 0. That means your graph is not intersecting anywhere on the x-axis because it is parallel to x-axis. So whenever your graph, your slope of your graph of given equation is parallel to x-axis, that means the zero of such graph will not be there. Such graph will be 0. ठीक है? Got my point clear? Second, if you can notice, in this given graph, the number of zeros is 1. At this point, your graph is intersecting your x-axis. कितने points पे intersect कर रहा है? एक ही point पे intersect कर रहा है. So it has how many zeros? How many zeros it will have? It will have 1 0. So 0 of this polynomial graph is 1. Are you getting my point clear? अब next देखो, आपका graph जो है, एक यहाँ पे intersect कर रहा है, दूसरा यहाँ पे इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है, तीसरा यहाँ पे इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है. सो इट इज इंटरसेक्टिंग योर एक्स एक्सिस 3 टाइम्स. सो व्हाट विल बी द जीरोस? हाउ मेनी जीरोस इट विल हैव? 3 zeros. Getting my point? Zeros are nothing but the points on where your graph is going to intersect your x axis. Is that clear? Okay. Next we will see here. Can you see fourth? In this graph, the number of zeros, how many number of zeros will it have? 2. Yes. What about this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Then what about this? 1, 2, 3. 3. Is that clear? Yes. Perfect. Very good. Next. Okay, next we have exercise 2.2. In that it is given, find the zeros of a quadratic polynomial and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. Zeros आपने समझा अभी, जो x की वैल्यूज हमको मिलती हैं किसी भी क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन को सॉल्व करने वक्त या पॉलिनोमियल को सॉल्व करने वक्त, वही खुद से जीरो है. x की जो वैल्यू है वही जीरो है. उसका जीरो मतलब आप बोल दो कि उसका आंसर है, ऐसा बोल दो. ठीक है. सो नाउ यू हैव टू फाइंड योर फर्स्ट इक्वेशन इज एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस 2x माइनस 8. माई डियर किड्स, यू नो वेरी वेल हाउ टू सॉल्व दिस. You can solve by splitting the middle term. That means you will take x square minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. And then you will group up x minus 4 in one. And then you will have x plus 2 in other bracket. Getting my point? So you got two things. And you know very well you have to equate with 0 this equation. So your answer will be, first you will equate x minus 4 is equal to 0. Your x is 4. Then you will equate x plus 2 is equal to 0. So your x is minus 2. Hence, what zeros did you got? You got your zeros to be 4 and minus 2. What are zeros? They are the x के values. Getting my point? So what you will write? Find the zeros बोला है. So what you will write? You will tell x is equal to 4, x is equal to minus 2. So these are the zeros. Getting my point clear? And then they have said you have to verify the relationship between zeros. So what kind of relationship do they have? Now my dear kids, to understand the relationship between zeros, Okay, I'll take a fresh page. Now, what is the relationship between zeros? Relationship between zeros and coefficient. Sorry, zeros and coefficient. Now, my dear kids, जो हम लोग का sum of zeros will be equal to minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, and product of zeros will be equal to constant term of your equation, that is polynomial, upon coefficient of x square. So if you notice here, in this answer, I got zeros as 4 and minus 2. Let me take that same thing. I got zeros as 4 and minus 2. So what I will do? I will take sum of zeros. So 4 is 1 0 plus minus 2. This is my sum. So that will be 4 minus 2. That will be 2. Perfect. Now that should be equal to the coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. Let me see what was the coefficient of x. Minus 2. And coefficient of x square 1. So I will write here coefficient of x square was 1 and coefficient of x was minus 2, and this minus sign of the formula. That means I got plus 2 on my right hand side. That means the relationship has been verified. So if you are getting your left hand side, that is this and this equal, you will say that the relationship is verified. Similarly, you have to do the products also. So product of your x zeros, 4 minus 2, that is minus 8. And here you have to put the constant term. What was the constant term? It was minus 8 of the equation. And what was the coefficient of x square? 1. So here also you got minus 8. That means again this is verified. The relationship between the coefficient, between the zeros and the coefficient is verified. Clear? One more we will do in this. I'll erase this. So you have to find the zeros and then you have to verify the relationship. I'll give you one more equation. So we have 6x square minus 3 minus 7x. First of all, you have to write it in the standard form. That is like this. Okay, my dear kids. So what is coefficient of x? Coefficient of x is minus 7. And what is coefficient of x square? It is 6. And what is the constant term? It is minus 3. So मैंने ये सब लिख के रख दिया. अब इसके zeros find करने मतलब दो brackets आपको मिलेंगे. आप equal to 0 करोगे. What brackets you will get? You will get 3x plus 1, 2x minus 3. And you will equate with 0. That is 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. That is x is equal to minus 1 upon 3. 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. That is x is equal to 3 upon 2. So I got zeros minus 1 upon 3 and 3 upon 2. And what formula did I give you? I gave you sum of zeros should be equal to coefficient of x minus sign आगे upon coefficient of x square. So sum of zeros, this is your left hand side, this is your right hand side. And the answers for both should be equal to verify the relationship. So sum of zeros minus 1 upon 3 minus 1 upon 3 plus 3 upon 2. Yes, you have to take the LCM. Your answer will be 7 upon 6. And here also you have to check coefficient of x was minus 7. और ये आगे वाला फॉर्मूला का 7 भी लगाए माइनस भी लगाएंगे upon 6. So that will be 7 upon 6. Hence the relationship is verified. Okay. One more time you can verify by taking product of zeros. Product of zeros. Zeros मतलब जो आपके x के values आए हैं उसका product will be equal to constant term upon coefficient of x square. Got my point clear? So you can do that? Yes. Very good. Next we have Now see what kids we did. I gave you a polynomial, I gave you an equation in my previous question, and you found the zeros, and you also found the relationship. You verified the relationship between the zeros and the coefficients. Okay. Now I'll give you the zeros and you have to make the quadratic equation. Clear? Now what we will do here, suppose I have given you the zeros are plus 1 upon 4 minus 1.